Thank you for coming back to Champlain Regional College today on our virtual booth at the Salon National de l'Entreprise. Today we're going to be talking about corporate social responsibility. That's a very interesting subject. And it's not only for big companies, big corporations. It's for small and mid-sized businesses as well. What is corporate social responsibility? Basically, with Champlain College, we have a program that's called International Trade. In this specific field, we target very specific elements such as marketing, promotion strategies, and things like that. But one thing that we've created is a unique program to help companies understand corporate social responsibility. Codes of ethics. You probably heard about codes of ethics in the past. These big corporations that have codes of ethics such as Bombardier or Nike. Well, even small companies have codes of ethics. And it's a very interesting element because it's more and more becoming a basic part of any marketing strategy for international trade. You have to make sure that you will respect certain rules of international trade. One of the basic rules is the fact that you will not work with companies that hire kids that are under the age of 15. That's a basic thing. If you do work with a company that hires kids that are under the age of 15, you can get yourself in trouble. You could be sued by third parties because you will not respect the International Convention on Child Labor. That's a very specific element that people don't think about that. Here in Quebec, we have specific rules that govern the way we do business. You cannot hire kids and make them work more than 10 hours a week, and they have to be regular students in high school, and the parents need to be aware, and certain rules like that we have in Quebec. An important part of corporate social responsibility is also related to the environment. As an example, if you have a supplier from West Africa that tells you, oh, I'm going to make you the best products at the best price, you have no idea, this is going to be perfect. And it's going to be garments, for example. And what we will do with chemicals that come in the fabrication of our garment, oh well, we'll throw them in the river. Doesn't matter much. Well, it might not matter at first, but you could get sued again because you hired a company in West Africa that decided not to respect basic environmental rules. And there are sets of rules that exist in various international conventions that in Quebec or in Canada or in the US, we obviously respect those. But because you have a contract with a company from West Africa that did not respect certain environmental basic rules, well, you could get sued. That's an important element. That's part of what we call corporate social responsibility. Labor practices, recruitment, promotion, and working conditions. These are all elements that are an important aspects of corporate social responsibility. Do you respect vacation time? Do you pay vacation time? What are the working conditions that you have worked with in the past and that you're working now? Do you respect rules that are different from around the world? Or will you apply, let's say you work in Africa, will you be applying the same rules that you have here in Quebec? Could be a very interesting aspect and a good promotion strategy. Of course, you may not pay the people the same wages that we're used to being paid here in Quebec, but you will respect the local traditions and you will make sure that you respect the government conditions that prevail in those countries. That's part of corporate social responsibility. And when you work with Champlain College, we will have a specific program built for your company and at the level that your company is in the field of international trade. And we will also make sure that you have a clear policy that addresses the environment, that addresses gender issues. In certain countries, mostly in developing nations, obviously gender equity does not exist or is applied in a very weird pattern. Not always as specific as it is here in Quebec, of course, because here it's all equal. But you get to work with suppliers, clients in various parts of the world, in developing nations where rules are not applied or sometimes even non-existent. So you have to make your own set of rules. So that's why you will build a code of ethics where you will integrate your corporate social responsibility program into this code of ethics. And that's important. This will go all the way to working conditions, gender issues, the environment, but also the financial aspect of your company. Let's say a customer invites you to the Bahamas to seal the deal of the century with your company. Are you going to accept for free to go to the Bahamas, or will you be saying, well, I'm going to meet you there, take me for lunch, that's fine, but let's be within reasonable boundaries. Of course, many companies, big companies of Quebec will usually set a certain amount of money that can be accepted as a gift. Let's say it's a bottle of wine that's not worth more than $50. And this is only once or twice a year that you will have the right to accept this gift. And you will have to disclose this gift. You will have to say, well, I was given this bottle of wine. You know, it could be put into the company for the company party or whatever, or donated to a charity organization or anything else. But there will be sets of rules. At one point in time, 15, 20 years ago, people used to be taken to golf tournaments. Hey, well, we're going to sign this deal, but hey, I'm going to take you to Florida to this nice golf course to seal the deal. Is it acceptable? Is it considered a gift, or is it not necessarily a gift, but it could be close to bribery, and it could be close to something not really legal? To which extent will you be able to live with this thing? That's part of a specific element of corporate social responsibility that you will have to take into account, because around the world there are certain rules that must be respected. Trade rules, anything that allows you to get money while not paying taxes is basically something that is illegal. And many companies will respect by the letter anything that relates to gifts and donations and stuff like that, just to make sure that it's not considered illegal, or it could help you get the deal and not take the competitor's deal. So you have to be very careful with these things. This is part of exporting, of being involved in the world of international trade. Client issues. How are you going to deal with clients, with customers? Complaints, warranty issues. Oh, well, he paid for the product. Who cares? I'm not reimbursing that person. You need to have a good set of rules that are part, again, of this corporate social responsibility procedure that you will put in place. And this is extremely important. Let's say you work with a company in Cambodia, in a small village in Cambodia. How are you going to make sure that your supplier that makes a product for you out of Cambodia respects the community in which it is located? Does this company work well with its employees? Do they have good working conditions? Do they respect a certain rules of vacation and stuff, and helping kids go through school, and the women that work in the houses, or do they pay for apartments? These are all little things that can make a big difference when you deal with suppliers around the world. Because sometimes a company could tell you, that's going to be the best product at the best price. Believe me, it's going to be 80% cheaper than working with my neighbor country in Vietnam. Well, how come it's so cheap? It could be because of wages. We know that. Obviously, it's not the same wages that we get here in Quebec. But is it legal? Is it okay? Is it made by kids that are under the age of 15? Is it made in conditions that are harmful for the health of the workers? That's important. Because these things could cost money. And that's what increases the price of a product. Oh, well, we throw the chemicals in the river, it doesn't matter much. Of course, it's cheap to do that. And it's much cheaper in the final price of the product. But is it ethical? Is it acceptable? Usually it's not. Obviously, as we know it here in Quebec. It would probably never happen, even if sometimes scandals arise from nothing. But this is all part of corporate social responsibility and the importance of dealing with issues like that. Organizational governance of your company, of your suppliers. What kind of board of directors do you have in place? Are there any buffers between the managers, the stakeholders, board of directors, clear rules that you will abide by, that you will work with on a regular basis? Accountability and ownership. People should be accountable for their acts. That's important, especially in the financial section of the companies. Coaching, working with others. How do you deal with people? Do you treat them well? This should be written in a corporate social responsibility program. That's extremely important. One last thing. Your corporate social responsibility planning should incorporate annual reviews with external investigators. You could hire someone externally to review your CSR policy, making sure that, hey, well, we did good. We abide by these rules. We know the International Convention on Child Labor. We can respect gender issues. We have a clear procedure about environmental aspects, and we also have a clear procedure for when we choose suppliers. We visit these suppliers. We make sure that they sign an agreement with us where they will not hire kids that are under the age of 15. They will respect certain rules of laws that we have here in Quebec. They will work with environmental organizations that will help them establish clear sets of goals so that they don't pollute the local rivers or communities that they work in. And these are all simple things that can make a big difference in the promotion of your product. These are all things that Champlain College can help you with. And we hope you liked these presentations, the one in French about marketing strategies, and of course this one as well on corporate social responsibility. Call us, email us, get to know us, and we will be more than happy to deal with you.